My name is Brian Miller. I'm Senior Vice President and Game Producer for Star Trek The Game. So we started working on this game when we were making the last movie back in 2009, and we all got together as a studio and with our filmmakers and the rest of the creative team and said, how do we bring this great property back to the gaming space in a really big way and in a way that really we don't think has ever been done before in a AAA quality level. And we sat down at this very important meeting, and as gamers, we were like, what do we make? What kind of game do we make? What do we want to do? How do we want to do it? And a decision was made early on that we wanted to make the game ourselves, that it was important enough to our company and to Paramount that we wanted to take on the really big task of really driving the entire project. So everything that we've done for the game, whether it was making it co-op or involving the cast or using the files from the movie to coming up with a whole new original story, really stemmed from that very early meeting. I think we've all had experience with movie-based games that haven't lived up to our expectations, or certainly haven't lived up to the expectation that we would expect from, a movie that we love as much as some of the movies that we play. And we wanted to make sure that when we were making a movie-based game that we had something that was really special. And it was important for us not to have a storyline that was really just repeating what you saw in the film. So, you see the movie, you play the game, it's exactly the same experience. There's no chance to sort of take a gamer and a player on a journey. And what we wanted to do with this game was to be able to tell a story that was completely original, very unique, was something that had never been seen before. This is a adventure of Kirk and Spock, the untold story of one of their great missions that they went on. And for us, it's a great opportunity. So when you're playing the game and you're watching the events that happen, it is a way to live the brand in a way that you haven't done before. And that's not something you could do. It's like, oh, I'm just going to play the skydive scene from the last movie, or now we're going to go to the ice planet again. We wanted something that was a little more fresh and better about that. Yeah, we're excited because, we are fans of Star Trek, and to be able to take the episodes or the moments in the movies or the shows that inspired us to be able to put them into a game. So the fact that we put the Gorn into our game was a big win for us. We're all huge fans of the Gorn, and I think a lot of fans and probably people watching this remember the Gorn from the old 60s show and still love it as much as we do. But we also have some great throwbacks. Not only did we borrow a lot from the Arena episode, but we looked at other episodes like Amok Time, which is a great episode where Kirk and Spock have to fight each other. And because we were making a co-op game where you have to play together for so long, we thought what a great opportunity it would be to take our players and force them to fight each other at a key moment. But we also have some great throwbacks to the 2009 film. There's little hints and a little bit of fun that we have there. You saw in some of the footage that we showed last night with Bones complaining about hearing Sulu's fencing stories, or little bits that we have hidden in the game, like you'll be able to find and collect tribbles as you move along. Those are the kind of things that we think the hardcore Trek fan will appreciate, because it shows that we actually care about them, that we want them to have a different experience. But if you're just a casual gamer who wants to come in and play Star Trek because you saw the movie and you don't know every episode as well as everybody does, it certainly is an experience that you'll enjoy. But for the guys who really know every episode, we have some stuff for them as well. We knew that we weren't going to make this game if we didn't have the entire cast involved. The crew of the Enterprise had to come back, and they had to come back together. And it wasn't just because we needed to look like our characters, and it wasn't because we needed to sound like the characters, even though that was important to us. It needed to feel like Star Trek. It needed to be authentic to that universe, and the only way you could do that was to the great banter between all of the crew. When you hear Kirk and Spock sort of arguing with each other, or the relationship between, Spock and Uhura that you get to sort of touch upon when you're playing the game and hear a little bit of their banter back and forth, was really important to us, because when you play this game, we want you to feel what it's like to be in Star Trek, as opposed to just watching something, or, oh, they just got the voice actor to come back and it didn't feel right. And what we've been proudest of is people coming back to us from playing the demo or seeing our demonstration that we give to say, I felt like I just watched 15, 30 minutes of Star Trek. And that's really hard to pull off, and we think it's turned out beyond our expectations. Well, we wanted to make sure that both of the characters that you play as, whether it's Kirk and Spock, and the fact that this is the first game where you can play as Kirk and Spock, particularly play as Kirk and Spock from our film, but you've never really had a game where you could play as both Kirk and Spock. We wanted to make sure that their differences were in the game as well, because clearly one's a Vulcan, one's a human, they don't get along all the time, and we had to make sure that played in the game. So not only do they have signature weapons, whether it's the captain's phaser that Kirk has, or it's the Vulcan weapons that Spock has, but there are different sort of, the dialogue back and forth will be different if you're playing as one character. There's a great little fun bit that if you're playing as Kirk and you sit in the captain's chair, you'll get a certain feeling when you do that. But if you're Spock and you do it, there's a great little bit that comes up. But also the gameplay. We wanted to make sure that there was something different. And they have different paths they take at certain points in the game. But the biggest thing for us was if Kirk is the captain of the Enterprise, how can he use that to his benefit? So if you play as Kirk, there are great moments where you can call in an airstrike from the Enterprise directly from your communicator. If you're Spock, Spock has the ability to do mind melds. So that's great storytelling and information we can give to our player by using that character. So whether you're, mind melding a Vulcan, who's been infected by the Gorn, or if you mind meld an actual Gorn, it's a great way to get some story in a very real way that fits back to Star Trek. The game is coming out internationally on April 26th, and we're going to be available on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC.